Hello, and welcome to part two. And as I said before, in case you missed part one, you can always go to YouTube. It's search East Bluff Streaming TV, and you can see both parts of it. But I'm glad to have you back, and I want to finish what I was saying. But I want to clarify some things that I stated in part one that may not have come across the way it should have been meant to be. I am not speaking negatively about my people. It may be coming out in a negative fashion. You may be perceiving this fashion, but it's as such. But it's meant to be a call to action, because I know slavery, Jim Crow, KKK, bad police, a president that should be living in an outhouse rather than a White House, and all other reasons that we're in the predicament we're in. I understand all that. While all these are real and legitimate, it seems that some of us feel that if we say them enough, they'll go away. We just keep saying the same things over and over and over. The system has kept its knee on our necks for hundreds of years, and it is not going away. So why are we waiting for them to come rescue us? They're not going to. If the situation is to be rectified, we must do it ourselves. Back in the day, we demanded opportunities, not handouts. No, we need to understand that handouts are designed to keep us where we are. Okay. And that's not going to get us anywhere. As I was talking in this first part, we have these two different arenas. Like I said, we have the KKK, we have our slave masters. Neither of them are promising us, even offering us, anything that we should have. They're giving us tokens. So we have to stop depending on them. We have to do it ourselves. And we have to start critiquing each other. And we have to start accepting it and understanding that it's done with love. When we have people say, look here, won't nobody give me a job? I hear that often because I got this, I got that, whatever. We need to ask them in a reasonable manner. What qualification do you have? Did you graduate high school? Do you have any type of training? These are type things that's going to help us to help ourselves. And I also want to clarify that I have the utmost respect for the Caucasians. As I said before, because I'm using names slave master and abolitionists and KKK and what that. I don't mean to further all of them. Even though a lot of them are. But I'm just saying the policies is where it's going to put us. It's not going to take us anywhere. Because here's the problem we're having with that. Back in the day when we was out there, early 60s, early to mid 60s, it's when the Caucasians came in and played a big part. They played a big part. In the Civil War, they played that. They hung that. But when it came to Jim Crow, when they came down to help us out, they didn't come and tell us what we need to do. They come and ask us, what can I do? And they were great at that role, because one of them getting beat down or getting killed was worth 10 of us. You can take just the case of Viola Luzo. There was more news about her than the 4 kids getting bummed in the church. So they played a big part. But the problem we are running into now, they are not coming in and saying, hey, where can I fit in? They're coming telling us where to fit in. That's what we got to stop. How liberal or how much brown black folk you came up, or how all of your friends are black, whatever, you cannot walk in my shoes. Period. So you can't tell me. So when I hear somebody say, you ain't black unless you do something else, how the hell are you going to tell me that I'm not black? I'm not black enough. You can't do that. So this is what we say, but this is what we allow it to happen now. Certain people could say anything and get away with it, and they know this. So now we're being taken for granted. As I said before, we are not the majority minority anymore. And we're minority, and we're starting being pushed down. That's why they're not referring to black to race anymore. They don't call it Afro-American now. They say people of color. They put us in a category. Whatever, people of color, colored people. What is the difference? What is the difference between people of color and colored people? I don't quite get that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But my point is, You see what we're doing? We're watering down. They're putting us in DEI. Now they're calling us people of color, and we're even using those terms, people of color. And people, let's just be honest with each other. The other races don't consider themselves to be a part of us. Even Africans don't even consider themselves to be part of us. So when we put ourselves on tag out, we're tagging along with them now. We started this. We are the original freedom fighters. I mean, go back all the way back to the Revolutionary War. We was always out front. Now we've been pushed all the way to the back and going further. And we are allowing it. Because these are supposed to be people that's representing us. Are they? Before Donald Trump, where were we? I want to ask everybody here that's listening to me right now, especially people of color. Are you better off now? I mean, tell me where Donald Trump has hurt you. More than where you was hurt before. This is not our problem. It's the people that's representing us. I was talking about all the problems we have in the southern states, and they're blaming the Republicans. They are Republican states, but you got to remember, just a few years ago, the Democrats had a supermajority. They could have changed any law that they wanted to. They didn't touch it. We got to look at those kind of things, people. I mean, take what's happening now. I mean, they crossed the aisle to get 3 signatures to force a Jeffrey Epstein report released. But they can't cross the aisle to get three Republicans to vote to correct the voting in the South. That makes no sense. The Republicans are willing to step in. As a matter of fact, 1965, 1964, they couldn't have been done without Everett Dirksen and Bob Michaels. So they'll cross over. But we ain't got nobody, we don't have anybody out there pushing it. Look that we are being controlled by our slave masters. Our people that have out there, our skin folk. They're not running anything. If you notice, what they're saying is coming down from somewhere else. It's not coming from them. They take it and run with it because that's the way the system is played. But I said those are the kind of things that we have to get back control of ourselves. We can't keep on waiting on somebody to come in and rescue us. So those are some other things. And I want to talk about 1964, the DEI, and what it means in 1964 to the Civil Rights Act. We need to be careful before we jump too deep into anything. We need to look and see how deep the water is. We don't want to get bogged down in something that's not going to benefit us, but actually going to bring us down. DEI need to be clarified: diversity, equity, and inclusion. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Inclusion. Inclusion, equity. I'm already equal. I mean, that to me, the whole thing is a term that sounds like it came up with our abolitionists. To tell you the truth. And you see, the problem with abolitionists, we got to look out for. Abolitionists were against slavery, but they were not pro-black. So if you look at your abolitionists of the day, your progressives of the day, they're not pro-black. It wouldn't matter if we were blue. They're out for a cause. And their cause is not necessarily our cause. Just like Donald Trump's equal ain't my equal. Their cause ain't necessarily my cause. I mean, we can agree on some things, and those things we agree on, hey, I'm with you. But just to say I'm going to fall behind your entire policy because this is what it represents, no, I can't do that. So those are some things that we have to be careful. We have to be careful of. We have to start thinking for ourselves, and we have to go out here and do these things for ourselves. But and quit blaming Trump for everything. Trump is a bad dude, no good dude. I agree with that. He shouldn't be there. But everything Trump touched ain't turned bad. Let's get behind Trump, push him on these HBCUs, push him on his trade school, which he said he was going to do, which he is doing. So, see, we can push him maybe to get us in school for free, along with go to HBCU. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, if you would take a Mississippi Valley State University and make it equal in all phases to a Mississippi State University, if those two schools equal, I wouldn't care about 1954, which Brown versus Board of Education. The only thing that bothers me about Brown is because of inequality of it, and it's probably going to be unequal too. But I'm saying, if those things were equal, if he brought those HBCUs up to equal to the regular university, Brown versus Board of Education would to me only meant we can go if we wanted to. It don't mean we have to go. We have to go now because most cases they have the higher quality education. But if we had those universities that was equal, the HBCUs that was equal to the Caucasian universities, then fine. Just leave. If you want to go over there, fine. But as long as you go over here, that's it. Then Brown wouldn't be as important as it was. Which in many cases, Brown is eroding anyway. And it's not just from the Donald Trump side. It's eroding from our side. Donald Trump is not enforcing it. He wants to go away. We're not taking advantage of it, so we might well want to go away. So Brown's not hurting us. Because in the South anyway, when the final segregation order came in, they formed a little white academies. They still exist today. So it's still segregated in the South. The ones who don't want to be there, they're not there. So Brown did what it's supposed to do. It gave us the right. And that was the whole purpose. I mean, the other states took it to the busing and all that stuff, took it to another level. But Brown, we was already riding buses. But Brown gave us the right. And once we got the right, then we stopped using it. I mean, we stopped going to school, period. Not just the right to go to the integrated school. We stopped going to school, period. So like I said, so Brown, we're not taking advantage of Brown now anyway. So my point is, let's push this thing with HBCUs. And that brings me to my last point, to my reparations. Reparations is what? Everybody out here talk about reparations. They're talking about money. Reparations to me should be a restoration of things that we should have had already. I was talking to a abolitionist the other day. Man, they gave the Japanese $20,000, so y'all should at least get $20,000. Like I told him, I said, you just insulted me. You gonna pay me $20,000 for all the slavery, all the work, all the hell my ancestors went through, and you offer me $20,000. So I'm asking my people, what would you call reparations? I mean, realistically, that could be realistically done. And I know everybody know. Every Afro person in this country not gonna get $1 million. It's not going to happen. Even though I was talking to I listened to one of the conservative commentators, and he made a statement that if you gave all of the black folk $1 million, 6 months of them, half of them be broke. First I started to get angry, then I got to, damn, he may not be wrong. But anyway, that's not the story. Is what is reparations? To me, reparations means a hand up, not a handout. Because when they're giving you handouts, ask the Native Americans here. What is a handout? You're on a reservation. That's what they have us now, a reservation. That's what the ghetto is, another reservation. And all the handouts that they're giving us is just going to keep us in the same place. And all the other stuff they talking about offering us, they offer us money, they still going to keep us on the reservation. So we're not asking to get off the reservation. We've gotten comfortable here. We rather stay down here in the gutter and fight each other than to join together and fight our way out of it. So reparation has to be something that's going to lift us up, because that's what our people would have wanted. Like I say, because I know this for a fact, because I've talked to too many of them. I know what they wanted. They wanted us to lift ourselves up. That was the one thing they always wanted us to do, to go to be. My mother always said, I want my kids to have a better opportunity than I had. So that's what we need. That's what we need to start focusing on. How can we make sure our kids have a better opportunity than we had? That's what reparations can do for us. I would take reparations and give everybody a post-high school education. That to me would be reparations. Any Afro that wanted a post-high school education, I mean, up to a reasonable. I don't expect them to pay you 15 years ago to be a surgeon or whatever, but enough to put you up from wherever you were. So that to me would be reparations. And the people that want to hang out here in these streets and do nothing, you don't deserve anything because you're not honoring my people. You know, if you're not trying to do anything for yourself, then I don't want my cousin Dove and Winston Hudson's blood to be to support that. They didn't get their house bombed so many times, dozens of times because of that. They didn't have Ku Klux Klan shooting. They haven't been all them gunfights they was having, so that you can go out here and get paid for doing nothing. So no, everybody don't deserve reparations. Reparations should be for those that struggling, trying to get up. That's all. That's what the old folk would have said. Because they always said, if you don't want nothing for yourself, why should I want it more than you do? So that's where I think we should go with that. So I would have some local leaders to try to solve some problems. I would get somebody that knows Ray LaHood. Because I got one more problem I want to solve. We need to stop the rancor, the political rancor that's going on in this country now. It's either one side or the other. And we see where it's leading to. Nothing good. You know, even when you're apologizing, talking about what you shouldn't be doing, you're still doing it. Didn't know one man start this. This has been going on for years. It's getting worse. And it's both sides being shot. But it's not as big a deal as everybody else making it. Because like I say, when those people are getting killed right here in Peoria, nobody's making a big deal of it. You know, when this kid gets killed in his bed, shot or walking down the street, whatever, nobody's making a big deal of it. So, but it's a big deal because of the way we are playing into it. And that's my concern now. We're playing into this. Because here we are out here doing it. We're always making these, oh man, this side here ain't nothing, man. Well, this guy here ain't nothing with it, man. We need to get rid of him, man. Somebody need to get, we need to get away from that. This is not something we should be getting in. This is not our fight. Because neither side is going to lift us up. So we need to quit throwing our fruit into all one basket. Because our fight is for us. First and foremost, should be for us. And by us going around throwing shade at this side over here, then this side gets here, and we still ain't got no more than what we had. So why are we doing that? If you recall, there was 3 million black men that didn't vote in the last election. That wasn't a Kamala Harris supporter. And I'm going to speak for those 3 million black men because I'm not a Kamala Harris supporter. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but I'm not a Kamala Harris supporter. I told somebody the first thing out of his mouth, oh, you didn't vote for her, you didn't like her, she's a black woman. That's the first thing. We got to get away from that, people. We got to get away from that. It had to do with the fact that she was a black woman. It had the fact we're finally now, as black men, we're becoming independent thinkers now. We didn't be. The black men didn't care about this issue too much. We were never. The black women were, but the black men were never didn't care about the issues that much. But now we're becoming an issue. We're becoming issue oriented now. I didn't like Kamala Harris because of her issues. She never answered the question. And if you want to capture Maine and my other 2,999,999, then you're going to have to come back to us. But it is, we're not leaving the party. The party is leaving us. You're going so far out here. If you want to get it back to where it was, you have got to come back to us. Because right now, and I hate to say this, I usually 99 out of 100 times I usually vote Democratic. But if the Republican can put forth a moderate, it won't be this year. Because I can't go out there where your J.B. Pritzkers are. I can't go that far. He's going too far. So if you want me and my other 2 million people I'm talking about, in order to win a national election, you're going to need us. It's just like Kamala Harris didn't lose the election because she was a black woman. Yeah, there was people that voted against her because she was a black woman. I agree with her. But there's also people who voted for her because she was a black woman. And I know some of them that wasn't voting at all until she became the nominee. So, but there was a lot of us that did not vote for her and had nothing to do with her being a black woman. You know, that's why I disagree with Barack Obama when he came out and made that statement. And when initially he wasn't in favor of her, they had to persuade him to get behind her. So I'm gonna say that's our policy, but that's politics. I understand how that works. But now, to win the next election, you have got to come back to us. If you keep going too far out there, too far out with the abolition, you keep going too far there, you're gonna lose the next election. Because yeah, you're gonna win your Illinois, your New Yorks, and your Californias, but you're gonna lose your Pennsylvanias, and you're gonna lose your Michigan and your Wisconsins, because those were those 2 million Michigan blacks. And you need to. I'm gonna tell you something else you need to do. You need to get the other side. You need to cross to the other side. Get you 3 voters to go and do something about those voting rights in the South. You're losing a lot of voters. I mean, maybe not in Mississippi. You're gonna lose Mississippi anyway, but the other states around, like the Georgia. You know, if you correct a lot of those old laws in Georgia, you might have a chance to win in Georgia. But the Democrats, the slave masters, they're just thinking to keep things there. Oh, we happy. You know, as long as the slaves are not rebelling, we happy. And we're not rebelling. We're just docile. They pat us on the head. Here, boy. Here's another $10 on your link card. And I said thank you. Because I mean, I like my $10 more on my link card. Come in handy. But that's not satisfactory. Just because I accept them, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm happy now. No, we still have to stand up. We still have to stand out. We still have to make noise. And we have to make noise on our own terms. We need to go back to the old days. We demanded something. Today they're protesting against things. They're protesting. I'm against this. I'm against that. I'm against that. What are you for? Well, I'm going to change that around. That's what I'm for. That's not specific. And the bad thing about the protesters, and I was talking to one of them the other day, talking about protests, and I said we were debating his protest. I said, look, that is not supported by the facts. Who cares about the facts? So, a protest, you got to protest. You're a professional protester. You know, I'm not a protester. I'm a demander. When we were out there working, we demand. We demand this. This is what we want. I want to sit down where I want to on this bus. I want to be able to drink out of whatever water fountain. I want to be able to go in the service station. That's all I want. That I want to go to. If I want to go, if I don't want to go, I don't go. And that's what it is. We got those things. But we got those things by crossing over. Crossing over. So, to get that crossover now, as I was going to start to say, I would get Ray LaHood, and I would have him to get his son and Eric Sorensen. Bring him to dinner, lunch, whatever. Just have a cup of coffee or a beer, whatever. Just sit down with them. Not talk about issues. Just find things that they like to agree on. Find things they can talk about, whether it's fishing, rodeo, whatever. Find something that they can agree on, that they both like, and get a conversation started. Believe it or not, one conversation, one agreement point as many times as all it takes. But we are so focused now on, well, if this person said, I'm automatically against it. We're so focused on that now that we don't even take the time. You know, Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, those two guys, man, they was always at each other's throat. But they could sit down there and work out a deal in a heartbeat. But that's how you do it. You have to know how to fight and shake hands. Fight on one hand, shake hand with the other one. You don't let the right hand destroy your left one, and that's what we're doing now. If you're on the right, I don't want to hear you. If I'm on the left, I don't hear you. Hey, people say, well, I only listen to one type television show. I ain't gonna listen to other type. Then you're not getting the whole story. And you're not giving the whole stories. And I want to say to my speakers here and locally too. You're not giving the whole stories. I want to talk to the people that's presenting the shows here. You're not giving the whole story. You're not giving the whole story. Give people both sides of the story. You know, I would like to form a debate just to talk about both sides of the issue, because we're not doing that. They're feeding us one side, and we're taking it and feeding it to the other people. So that's how they do information. That's how they do the drugs. They feed the drugs to us, and we're taking it and feeding them back into the community. They doing the same thing with information. They feed us what they want us to have, and then we take it right back into our community. They make us believe what they want us to believe. You know, that's the way it's done. But the problem is, we're allowing it to happen. They always filter their garbage down to us. And everything they do, it comes back to us. And we keep allowing it to happen. You know, we need to stop. We need to start taking account for ourselves. We need to start telling these people, hey, here, you either for this, you're not for this. You're for affirmative action. I'm not people of color. I am Afro. I'm whatever name you want to call yourself. But I am not people of color. Where do you stand on the issue of affirmative action? Where do you stand on the issue of voting rights? You know, you want to give illegals voting rights? Yes, because that's going to replace us. But no, you can't. Till we get voting rights, nobody should be getting them. You're not going to sit up and tell me my brother, my nephew, 40-some years old, got a shoplift, some kind of charge at 18. Now he never be able to vote in Mississippi. But yet still, you can come over here from this country, not knowing anything about it, but yet now you can vote. No, we as a people have to stand up and stop that. You know, we're not against you, but I am not going to give you my place in line. You know, we've been fighting for this. My people been fighting for this for hundreds of years. Now just get out of the way and let them have your place in line. That's what they're doing to us. We need to stop people start thinking. Ask them where they feel. And the people our skin folk that's coming to us with this. Oh, Donald Trump ain't this. Donald Trump ain't that. Donald Trump ain't that. Okay, ask him what whoever he's recommending, what are they going to do for us? Not people of color, what they're going to do for us as an Afro people. Ask my people that. Well, if all he's going to talk about is I'm going to be against Donald Trump, you're not going to get my vote. So go to YouTube, East Bluff Streaming TV. Thank you.